Meet Codename Goose, your on-machine open-source AI agent, built to automate your tasks. Codename Goose is an intelligent and autonomous agent capable of handling complex tasks thanks to its core features. Connect with apps and tools you already use with extensions. Built on the Model Context Protocol, you can connect to extensions like GitHub, integrate JetBrains IDEs, access Google Drive, or build your own custom integrations for Goose. For a curated list of extensions, visit our docs. With a wide range of compatible large language model providers, you can choose and integrate your preferred model. You can also run Goose as a desktop app or through the command line interface using the same configurations across both. You can think of Goose as an assistant, ready to take your instructions and do the work for you. Able to handle a wide range of tasks across various engineering domains. Here are examples of tasks Goose has helped people with already. Goose has helped dive into a new project in an unfamiliar coding language, conduct code migrations such as Ember to React or Ruby to Kotlin, increase code coverage, and even generate unit tests for a feature, and much more. To get started using Goose right away, check out our Quick Start and be the first to know about upcoming features by joining our community.
I'll follow through. Here's what Goose can do for you. Build the bug, extend your flow, edit code and run the show. Search fast with RGY, globs to find the files just right. Propose a diff, await your cue. No change lands till you approve. Here's what Goose can do for you. CLI server, desktop too. Rust to TS, I'll see it through. Here's what Goose can do for you. Add routes, axle on the line. Generate open FPE fine. Wire the UI, test it clean. Type checks pass the build, stay green. Schedule jobs, recipes run. Pause, resume, or run now, done. Here's what Goose can do for you. Automate the boring new. Tasks on time, reliable crew. Here's what Goose can do for you. Enable tools when you need more.
Ooh, hi everybody. Welcome to another episode of Vibe Code with me. My name is Ebony Louis. I'm a developer advocate here at Block. And today we're going to build an MCP UI server. So I've been trying to figure out how we can do this together. It's going to be hands-on. I'm going to share a GitHub repo. We're going to do that together, but I'm thinking that I want to start this with some slides. It's not, I know what you're thinking, like I'm not here for slides, but it's going to be fun. Let's start with some slides. I want to make sure we all start on the same page. We're going to build a regular MCP server, and then we're going to add MCP UI to it. And yeah, let's do it. It's going to be fun. So I'm going to first add a little banner. Okay. All right. Let me share my screen. Share screen. I'm going to share my entire screen. So I hope you guys don't see any secrets. And if you do, just don't tell nobody. Okay. So I have a few slides, as I said, and let's jump right into them. If the clicker wants to work. Okay, cool. All right, so before we dive into building an MCP server, I want to make sure we all understand what MCP servers are. So in Goose, in the world of Goose, MCP servers are known as extensions. And a little fun fact, Anthropic actually launched MCP in around November 2024. And my company Block, along with other companies, helped out with the spec. It's essentially this open standard that helps extend agents' capabilities. This is by giving them a common language to communicate with, different tools, different APIs, different data sources. Essentially, I like to say that it's a wrapper around them. Obviously, it's a little more complex, but I think that's the easiest way to think about MCP servers. Now, how does Goose actually use MCP servers or extensions? And if you played around with Goose, which I'm sure most of you already have, you understand like how to enable them and things like that. But do you know what's happening behind the scenes? So I like to call it this conversation that's happening, right? So it starts with the user, like myself or you. We go into our AI agent. This could be Goose. This could be any AI agent. We can go on the desktop. We can go on the CLI. and we say, hey, this is my problem, or this is what I want you to accomplish on my behalf, the AI agent will take your prompt, whatever you've given it, along with whatever it has context to. So whether it's your code or maybe it's some files that it needs to look at, and it takes any of its capabilities, those MCP servers that it has available, and it gives it to the LLM. Because these AI agents, they have access to our machines and our systems, and they can operate on our behalf. But the brain, like there's nothing going on up here, right? So they need the large language model to tell it what to do specifically, and it can go off and do it. So this is why picking your LLM is really important. So it gives it to the LLM and it's like, help, please. I don't know what this person wants me to do. This is the capabilities I have. These are the extensions. This is the context, and this is the problem. Help me, please. So the LLM is excited, right? Because your LLM is like your chat GBT or your Claude. Normally, it could just have like a back and forth conversation with you. But now it's like, wait, you have access to their machine? Like you can do things? I can normally just brainstorm. This is amazing. So now the LLM is like, okay, here's the play. This is what we're going to do. Go do it. So the AI agent's like, perfect. All right. So it takes the game plan. The LLM has picked out whatever MCP server it wants to use to accomplish whatever we asked it to do. So the AI agent goes to the MCP server, it calls on the tools, it does the execution, and it keeps iterating between the LLM and the MCP server. They have this like back and forth conversation until they solve whatever problem or whatever need you had. And while this is all happening, in your chat window, you'll normally see those logs or like those updates. That's your AI agent updating you, like on the different steps it's taking. Maybe it hits an error and it has to like reiterate, it updates you on it. And then at the end, it's like, problem solved. I've done it for you. Go check out my hard work. And we love that. So that's the conversation between all of them. Now I want to get into the anatomy of MCP servers before we dive into the code together. And if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Now I want us to get through like the anatomy of it. So before we actually look at an MCP server and build one together, I want us to look at one and dissect it together. So this is a very simple MCP server. Straightforward. It only has one tool and it's adding numbers. That's it. And I strongly believe that in order to learn a concept, you don't have to overcomplicate it, right? Like we can look at this simple MCP server and we're going to have a good understanding on other MCP servers. So in the beginning, the first thing we're doing is we're importing this fast MCP. Now, in Model Context Protocol, in their GitHub repo, there's so many SDKs in different languages, right? But now the community has taken hold of MCP servers. They've created their own SDKs on easy ways for you to spin up your own MCP server. And Fast MCP is one of them. I love Fast MCP. It's also in TypeScript. I love TypeScript, but there's Python, there's Rust. There's so many out there. Just a quick little Google search and you'll be able to, find that out. So we're importing it. The next thing we're doing is we're basically giving our MCP server an identity. So this is like the instance. So we're initializing an instance of the MCP server SDK. And this metadata is super helpful for like tracking and debugging your different tools. It lets your AI agent know exactly what it's working with. So we have name, my server, creative, I know, version. And then next is the tools. You're going to want to add tools. And tools are the most important aspect of agentic AI. Like, listen to me. MCP servers without a tool, it's really not doing anything. AI agents are able to execute these API calls through tool calling. So we're adding a tool. We're going to give our tool a name and a description. And you don't want to, don't just freeball this, right? Like your tool description is really, really important. This is what lets your LLM know when to choose this tool and when to call it. So you want to make sure it's super descriptive. You don't want 3-4 lines, just straight to the point, right? So our description is add 2 numbers. Straight to the point. It's simple. It knows when to call it. Next, we're adding parameters. This is just like any function. If you want a tool to do something, you need to provide arguments in many cases, not all the time. So this is specifying that 2 numbers are needed when calling this tool. And again, if you have any questions, put them in the chat and I'll get to them. And then This is when you're going to provide a body. This is specifying what happens when the tool is called. So this is the logic. And the cool thing about this part here, your AI agent never actually sees this. It just sends the data to the MCP server and it gets back the response. And in this one, what we're doing here is we're adding A plus B, straightforward. And that's it. This is a basic MCP server. And again, because I want to make sure we're on the same page before we go and build MCP servers together, tool descriptions are important. You don't want to confuse your LLM. You want to make sure you're on the same page and it knows when to call that tool. Okay, now let's build. I'm going to share the link for the GitHub repo. Give me 1 second. Going to add it here as, I think I'll put it as a banner. Let's see, let's add that. And let's get rid of this. Okay, so I want everyone to go to this GitHub repo. I'm going to share it on my screen. Maybe not. Where is it? 1 second, guys. Here it is. Let me drag her over. I can't see what you guys could see. Okay, do you guys see it? I'm gonna zoom in. Let's make this bigger. Okay, that's better. Okay, all right, cool. So I'm gonna give everybody a few minutes. Get to this. Let me give everybody a few minutes to get to this repo. And what you're gonna do is just follow these steps. So make sure you have Node, NPM, and you need Goose. We're going to do Goose Desktop, but you can use CLI if you want. If you have any questions on how to use the CLI versus desktop, let me know and I can toggle between showing both. But this is the setup. We're going to git clone. We're going to CD into the dog MCP and then NPM install. So again, I'll give you guys a few minutes. I think I'll do what time is it? I'll do 2 more minutes to make sure we're all on the same page. Ooh, this is when I need some music, some background music for us. I don't have any. I'm really excited to build this with you guys. So yeah, so we're doing a very simple dog. It keeps asking me for this, and I don't want to. We're doing a very simple dog MCP server together. Let me open up the code. So let me bring all that down. Okay. All right. So everyone should go to server.ts. Hopefully we're all on the same page. Let's kick it off. Okay. So you're going to navigate to the server.ts file. And at the beginning, as you see what we did as we saw with our example MCP server, we're importing the fast MCP. So we have an instance of we've imported our SDK. Then we are adding this fetch because we're actually making an API call. So we need that. Ignore this one for now. We'll get to that. We'll get to MCP UI after this. But okay, so now we're creating a fast MCP server instance. This is the identity, same as what we saw before. We have dog MCP server as our name and our version is 1. And now I have all the code at the bottom. So if you just scroll down, you'll be able to see it. And I'm going to uncomment this first tool. So I'm going to bring it up a little higher for us to see. Then I'm going to uncomment it. And we can look at this first tool together. Okay, so in this first tool, the name, random dog, the description, again, you want it to be super simple. You don't want to confuse your LLM. So the description is, let me zoom in a little more. Okay, cool. The description is get a random dog image. And now this section here, I didn't talk about it in our slides, but this is optional. I recommend doing it. If we're going to create MCP servers, let's create MCP servers, right? So annotation, in it you have title. So this is what the user is going to see. Right now, name, random dog is just the internal name. But this is what the user would see. And then we have read only hint. And with read only hint, this tells you that it doesn't modify any, it's saying like it's true. It doesn't modify any files or anything like that on your behalf. It's not going to go crazy in your code. And then open world hint what this is saying is that, oh wait, sorry, this should have been false. Oh wait, no, why am I confusing myself? Lord, it's been a long day. 5 p.m. my time. Okay. So anyway, so we have the open world hint. What this one is saying is, yes, it's gonna connect to external resources. And the external resource in this case is gonna be this API call that it's making to dog.ceo. So recap, title is the external name that the user is going to see. Read only hint, it says, yes, this only read files. It doesn't make any changes. It doesn't mess with your environment or anything like that. Open world hint, saying true is because it's going to interact with external services and stuff like that. And that's this API call here. Okay, let's go down to parameters. As I said, the parameters is like your function. It's not always going to be needed. In this scenario, we don't need any parameters for this. And then this is our execute logic. So we have the fetch call we're making. Like I said, like MCP servers, it's kind of like wrappers around tools, wrappers around APIs. So this is the API call that we're making. And then it's just returning the message. It's returning the dog image to us. Simple, straight to the point. So I'm going to scroll down because I forgot to comment. Oop. Oh my goodness. Like live demos, there's always hiccups. But yeah, I forgot to comment this part out. This is the MCP UI stuff. So I'm going to comment this out for now. On yours, it should already be commented out. But okay, so this is a local MCP server that we're going to connect to Goose. So, and the first tool we're showing is give me a random dog image. So we're going to go down here and you want to make sure that whenever you make any changes, can you guys see it? Let me turn that banner off so that you guys can see what I'm working on in the terminal. Hide the banner. Okay. All right, cool. All right, so anytime you make any changes, you want to do npm run build. So we're doing that. It builds it. Beautiful, amazing. Now we're going to go into Goose. So let's do a new session of Goose. All right, we're going to go down to our extensions. And now I already have the, I just toggled it off. I already have the dog MCP extension, but I'll walk you through it. We'll do it together. Click on settings so we could see it. Okay, so you're going to name it whatever you want to name it. I'm naming it dog MCP server. It's a standard IO. This is going to be our commands because it's local. So you want to make sure that wherever you have this, wherever you get cloned, this repo, that's where it needs to be pointing to. So for mine, I did it on my user home directory and I'm pointing straight to the file. So you might have to change just this to be your username, but everything else should be the same. Timeout 300 is fine. We don't care about that. And for this specific MCP server, there's no environment variables. I hope everybody's keeping up and we're all good. We're all on the same page, hopefully. Okay. So there's no environment variables needed for this one. So we're good to go. We're going to click Save Changes. It says it's updated, but we didn't really make any updates. But anyway, so we're going to go down and we're going to turn it on. All right, so everyone should see this message here, successfully activated their extension. If you're running into any issues, maybe you didn't do npm install that we saw in the README, make sure that you followed these steps here and you did npm install. If you see any other issues, maybe you don't know exactly what directory it's in, so check and see the path. You can do that inside your, I'm using VS Code, so I know how to do it in VS Code. I'm going to assume everywhere can do that. You can go down to copy path, and it'll tell you exactly the path to where this is for you to plug that in under your command. So anyway, so then we've toggled it on. We're going to go to chat, and we're going to ask Goose for it. So, hey, Goose, can you give me a dog image? I'm going to say using the dog MCP server. Probably don't really need to do all that. We're going to do that. Let's see what we got. This. Oh my God, this dog is so cute. What kind of dog is this? This is so adorable. Water dog? Spanish? I don't think I've ever heard of that before a day in my life. But anyways, we got our dog. The dog is so stinking cute. and successful. We created an MCP server, a local MCP server, and we added it to Goose. And now it has access to this API, and it was able to do that API call. Love that. Amazing. Let's go back over to the code. It's so funny because it looks great for you guys, the zoomed in, but for me, ooh, it's looking crazy over here. Okay, so we have this first tool. Let's do one more tool before we go into MCP UI, just so we could see again how like simple and straightforward it is. So I'm just gonna bring it up. And again, you have all the code. Just scroll to the bottom of the file and you'll see all the code there. All right, so let's thing that. Okay, so our second tool is gonna get an image of a specific dog. So again, we have server.add_tool, we have our function. Our name is dog by breed. Our description, again, tool descriptions are very important. I should have had a little banner that said that. Tool descriptions are very important. Okay, you want it to be straightforward. We're not trying to confuse our LLM. Get a random image of a specific dog breed. Straight to the point. We have our annotations again. These are optional. I highly recommend you include them when you're building your MCP servers. There's the title. This is now the human title. This is what I will see as a user. Get dog by breed. Read only hint. We're putting this to true because it just reads files. It doesn't make any changes to any of your environment. And then we have open world hint true because we are accessing the API, so external resources. So that's true. And then for this one, we do have a parameter. In our first tool, we didn't need any parameters, but in this one we do. We need the dog breed, right? Because we want to get a specific dog breed. So that's what it's asking for here. And then in our execute, our body, we're telling it, go hit this API, but input this specific breed and bring me back an image. So we're going to save it. And then again, like I said last time, we need to, did I X out my terminal? Let me open up a new terminal. We need to do npm run builds. Anytime you make a change to your local MCP server. Okay, so npm run builds. All right, cool. And what's happening is when I do npm run builds, it's just compiling this into JavaScript here so that it could run using that node, the command we used when we connected it to Goose. Okay, cool. All right. Are we all good? Good. Hopefully, I hope we're all good and we're on the same page. All right, so now we're going to go into Goose and we're going to toggle the extension on and off just to make sure that those changes were picked up. We want to make sure that it has access to the second tool. So now let's go down, A, B, C, D. Dog, where are you? Okay, here you are. Okay, cool. Toggled it on, successfully activated extension. Now let's go to the chat. Hey, Goose, can you get me a picture? What dog should we do? What dog? Picture of a husky. Huskies are cute. A husky, please. Using dog MCP server. All right, let's see what we get. Ooh, breed husky. Oh my God. I literally could look at dog images all day because why is this so cute? Oh my God. Straight out the water. Stop it. Okay, this is adorable. Like, I just can't. This is so cute. Oh my goodness. Okay, so yeah, this is our second tool and it's working. Amazing. And you see how simple it is adding the tools? They're so simple. Okay, now let's get a little advanced. Let's add MCP UI. So let's take a quick beat. MCP UI is an extension of MCP. And what it does is it allows you to have these interactive UIs inside your chat window. So directly here, we can have an interactive UI instead of seeing, beautiful as it is, instead of just seeing an image of a dog. Like I can't click on it. I mean, I can't do nothing really. You know what I mean? So that's what MCP UI allows you to do without having to click and go to a separate page or anything. So let's go back to our code. I'm going to comment out both of these tools. Let's comment out our second tool. Go back. Cool. Okay. And now let's go down to our MCP UI code. It's going to look really long. let's go here to comment that out. And then we need to comment out our tool. Okay, cool. And we'll just do the first tool for now. Oh, and our import. Comment that back. Okay, cool. All right, save. All right, let's go down. Let's get rid of this terminal. We need all the space we can get. Okay. So at MCP UI, it's super straightforward. The one we're using, so there's different ways to use MCP UI. Today, the one we're using is rendering in an iframe. So we're going to create this function, which is going to be all of our HTML. This is going to be how our tool is going to look. And it's super simple. Literally, we're just returning it. We're just returning HTML. So I'm not going to go through like all the styling that I did, but I do want to go down to these different actions. So with MCP UI, there are different actions you can have with it. So I think there's about 5 or 4. At the moment, Goose supports link and prompt. So with this first one here, what we're telling it to do is we're adding a UI action that when I click on an image or a button, whatever, in my new MCP UI, it's going to be able to write a short and funny meme caption for the photo, whatever dog image we get. And in this second one, this is going to be a link UI action. And in this one, whenever I click on the button, and this specific button is tweet this or share this, it's going to open up the external page, my Twitter account, and it's going to already paste in the message for me and tweet it for me, which is so cool. All right, so we've already saved it. Let's open up, let's just open up another terminal. Let's do npm run build again, because we've made changes to our local MCP servers. We want to make sure that those changes are compiled. And then let's get right back into Goose. We're going to go to extensions, toggle it off. We want to make sure those changes get added in, toggle it back on. We have our success message. We love that. Let's go back to the chat window. And now we're going to try again. Okay. And let's go back to the code. Just make sure we're on the same page. The only tool that I enabled was random dog image. So it just about will look the same, right? So we have our name, our description, our annotations, parameter. Remember, for get a random image, we don't need any parameters. And then this is where the changes, right? So our execute function, where it's returning us the image of the dog, but now all we're adding is now we're returning this UI resource. And this UI resource is what allows us to have that UI inside the chat. So that's it. Like, it's that simple. It's really that simple. That's all we're doing. We're adding this here. Obviously, it gets detailed when you're deciding on the styling, and that's how we have this long code block here. But what you're actually returning in your tool call, this is it. That's it. It blew my mind when I saw that. I love that. Okay, let's go back into Goose. All right, so hey, Goose, can you give me an image of a dog using the dog MCP server. All right, let's see. Ah, cute. Okay, but look, do you see the difference? So this is what we normally would have, and I love that they added Halloween. It is October. This is what we normally would have gotten back, right? But now we have this. And you don't have to have it send both, send the regular responses and the UI response, but I just did that for demo purposes. But look how cute. Now we have all these different like interactive buttons. So this is the share one that I was talking about. I'm going to click share. I'm going to have to bring the window over for you guys to see. But look, it literally, I didn't write this. Goose did. See this dog via my MCP UI. That is so cool. And then I could just press tweet. So I'm hoping when you guys are doing this along with me, like right now, you guys actually post it, but then add me in there, like tag me so that I could see it. Tag me. Oh, is it Ebony Louis is my thing? Yeah. Okay. Tag me in it and then tweet it, or tag Block, tag Goose, whatever. I think that would be really, really cool for me to see the tweets that you guys have with yours. And you can change, obviously, the messaging that you wanted to say. But that is the link UI action. So cool. Okay, let's bring that over out of our way. Okay, and then now another one we can do is meme captions. This I could have coded a little better, but this, when I clicked that button, it made the prompt for me. So I didn't have to write this in at all, as you guys just saw. Okay, so it says, when someone says good morning before I've had my coffee, does that go with the image? I thought it looked pretty put together. So that's why I feel like the meme one, I could do a little bit more thought process on that UI action, but that's a prompt UI action. I clicked the button and I got a prompt and it sent it off for me. And I already started working on it, which is so cool. I love MCP UI. I think it's really, 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 really cool. And also, I think I can show you guys. I might have it open. Let's see. What's this one? Ooh, okay. And this is my Cloudinary one. I have this session open that I could share with you guys. So normally with Cloudinary, the MCP server, when you give it an image, a video, etc., you'll get this back, which is cool. You know what I mean? It gives me all the information that I need, but it's also really boring. Like I want to see something better, right? And I know I'm not the only one. So with MCP UI, I can get this. You see how I'm smiling now? Like this is so much better, I swear. Okay. So now we get this. So I have all the same information, right? And some cool buttons. So I have my like upload image thing down here. I can actually see the different transformations that I could do, like the different effects. Like I could resize, I could have a blur effect. I love that. And then I still have my tweak this button. So we're going to do that again. Oh, I got to bring it over. Hold on. Bring this over. I didn't write this tweet. Goose did, image included, and here's how you can do it too. So that's the way I like wrote how I wanted the message to be in this MCP server. But this was me taking an existing MCP server and just adding MCP UI. So you can do this right now. If there's any MCP servers that you're currently using daily or whatever, you can add MCP UI to it. So I want to also go to the docs really quick, and I'm going to share the link for MCP UI docs with everyone. Second, like this. Just bring this baby over and let me add a banner so you guys can also. Okay, so this is the docs for MCP UI. Literally go in here and you will get all the information that you need. So Goose is an MCP client, and an MCP UI client. So when you go here, you're going to be looking at the server stuff. You're going to be working on updating your MCP servers. You want to make sure that that's what you're following on. You don't, unless you have an AI agent of your own that you want to add MCP UI compatibility to, then you can pay attention to that. Some things that I do want to call out is right now for MCP UI, this SDKs are only available in TypeScript, Ruby, and Python. Last time I checked, it was just TypeScript and Ruby, and now there's Python. So it's evolving fast. And if there's not one that you see there, I'm pretty sure you can create your own workaround code for it. Just look at the example of a TypeScript or the example in Ruby, and you'll be able to create your own workaround method. But yeah, literally just go through the code, and there's so many different ways that you could do it. Like I said, I did the iframe one, but let me go to usage and examples. So I did the iframe here, but then there's also like, can you guys see this? No, you can't actually. Hold on, let me zoom in. Hold on, guys. Okay, that's better. Okay, but there's also React DOM script that you can use when it comes to creating your UI interface. That's really cool. There's a bunch of them. So I implore you to go on these docs and explore more. I also want to share this blog that I wrote that will walk you through how I did it for Cloudinary, and I did the file system MCP server. So the same way we walked through it on this call together, you can also, I have all the steps. I made it as clear as humanly possible, but I know sometimes you could think you're being clear and you're not. So if you have any questions, you can find me in Discord and ask me any questions you have, and I will answer them. But yeah, this completely will break down exactly how to do it. I share the code with you, and these are the 2 prompt actions Again, look at how simple this is. Like, stop. It's so simple. And the other three is tool UI action, intent, and notify. So those are the other three that we're working on adding into Goose. Like full, what's it called? What's it called? What's it called? I don't know. I call it a mom brain freeze. I don't remember. I can't think of the word that I wanted to say. But okay, let me also share this link with you guys. Create a little banner. All right, let's move this out the way so we can see our beautiful MCP server again. Love this. Let's go back to our code. So right now, I feel like there's probably no point in me diving into this again, and you guys can do this on your own. When I'm hands-on, it helps me learn. So I feel like everyone's kind of like that. I don't know. But there are, what is it, like the different, that's what to help me in the chat or something. But there's also different learning methods. Yes, different ways that people learn. That's what I was trying to say. Okay, so I also added MCP UI to the second tool as well, but I'm reusing the interface that we created, the UI interface. So you don't have to do that. But I decided just for like, this is demo purposes, I just recreated, I'm reusing, the MCP UI interface. But for each tool, you can have it look completely different if you want. Like it's whatever you want. Literally, it's your world. Go crazy. So yeah, and this one, you can comment this out, do your npm run build, toggle it off in Goose, toggle it back on. That is just about everything I wanted to share with you guys today. Let's go back to our slides. Okay. Now I want to share a few resources. I already shared majority of the links with you, but let's also go through these resources. So Goose, you guys already have. Hopefully, you already have Goose downloaded because we just went through a whole demo. There's no way you watched me, you didn't hop in and do it with me. And then I have my MCP UI blog. This blog is super detailed. It will take you through changing any MCP server and making it MCP UI compatible. And then I want to call out these two blogs. There's a layering blog. Well, this is just one blog in this image, our layering blog. So the example of the MCP server that I showed you guys today was super straightforward and simple. But let's say you have a use case where you have like 300 API calls and all these different endpoints. Like you have a lot going on. We have this method that we use for our Square MCP server called the layering method. And I do have slides on it, but we're already almost at the hour. So I recommend going to this blog, checking it out. It's super detailed and it'll tell you how you'll have a bunch of tools, right, in an MCP server. But when your LLM, your AI agent looks at it, it's going to see just 3 tools. That's what it's going to see at first, right? I think it's discovery, execute. I'm making it up now. I don't remember off the top of my head, but but it's a guide on how to, you basically teaching your AI agent how to approach that MCP server. Read the blog, it's super detailed. But if you're more like me, you like to be hands-on, just go straight into Square's MCP server and look at the code yourself. I feel like that's how I learned, probably how you learn. Just hop right in. Then we have this design MCP blog. And I want to highlight this one because I'm sure you may have an MCP server that you're building that has to do with a lot of has an auth flow in it, any type of authentication. In our design MCP blog, we highlight the way we like to do authentication with MCP servers. So I would recommend that as a resource. And then join Discord if you're not already in Discord. And that is it. I'm so happy we spent this hour together. Let me remove that so you can see my face. I'll zoomed in again. Thank you so much for spending this hour with me. If you have any questions at all, you can put them in the chat and I will respond to them. You can hop into Discord. I'm going to also put our Discord banner if I can find her. Here we go. Okay. You can hop into Discord and you can tag me. I really hope you guys coded alongside with me. This was really fun. Thank you for joining me. I hope you've coded alongside with me. I hope I see a bunch of tweets and I have my name tagged or Goose is tagged or Block is tagged. I hope you guys do that as well. Let me know if there's anything I could have explained more. And I will catch you guys in the next Vibe Code with me. And thank you. Bye, guys.